Right. Time to tell the truth. I built an online coaching business to 5 figures. And then just like that, I lost everything because I didn't really know how to work an online business. In this video, I'm going to tell you just 5 of the mistakes. Granted, I'm pretty sure there was a lot more mistakes that I made that hindered me to be able to build and scale the business correctly. But I'm also going to tell you how to fix those mistakes, rebuild it, and then double it again. See, here's the reality. Making money online is actually really easy. Keeping it, though, is what most people don't tell you. Now, the business wasn't failing due to the fact of my skills or ability as a coach, but it was because of the fact that I didn't have the correct infrastructure to support what I was offering. If you're building an online coaching business, you need to understand these mistakes so that you don't fail either. I'm going to break down these mistakes and I'm going to show you why most online coaching businesses that just get started end up failing. Now, I want to backtrack. Before I started my online coaching business, I was actually a personal trainer who quickly scaled up to being the head coach and then overseeing my own physical location. When I moved online, I leveraged my network and I quickly started making sales. Now from there, lead lists started going out, but the crazy part is in just a few months, I made more, if not equivalent to what I would make typically in a whole year's worth from the salary and commissions. My issue is after that, I didn't know necessarily where to go. So what was the first mistake? See, when you leverage your warm network, it's good because you can quickly get wins. The problem is, if people don't know who you are outside of who already knows you, then it's hard for you to really scale. And what I mean by that is you don't have leads coming in, especially if you're the one that's always reaching out. Now, you hold the most leverage if you have people coming to you wanting to work with you. And in this, I didn't really have a system for people to be able to find me. I did produce somewhat of content online. I didn't have a system in order to scale the audience in order for people to work with me. I relied too much on word of mouth and outreach and DMs. And what I would do now to fix that is I would focus on building a personal brand, being known for specifically what I do in my coaching business in order for then people to reach out to me and find me on the platforms that they are known. I would do this by creating maybe long form content that I can then break up into short form of content and then take that short form content into digestible pieces of text-based content so I can leverage multiple platforms. I'm going to utilize the rule of 7-11-4 where I'll take 7 hours of content, 7 different touch points to be able to interact with people, and then on 4 different platforms, because this is typically, and I believe it's been scientifically proven, the amount needed for a new person to really be able to trust and build authority with you in order to then buy from you. And this, what I would then call an evergreen lead flow model. Now, with that being said, when I did have someone that was interested and got them to the point that they did potentially want to work with me, I didn't necessarily save their information correctly, I would say. Now, I might sound like every girl's worst red flag, and that's okay because my name is Jay, so I'm already at a disadvantage. But what I mean by that is I didn't have an ability to get people to give me their information without it really kind of coming off a little bit weird. Now, this is what we call a lead magnet, and this is going to give me the ability to be able to provide value to them, and they give me their contact information so that I can then follow up later down the road if they're not contact them if it wasn't just an in-person meeting. When I do this, I would want to make sure I save their information in some form of a CRM system, which is basically just gives me the ability to keep those customer relationships and manage those all in one particular area. So how do I fix this? I provide them some form of value, a lead magnet, that they would then give me their information, their name, emails, user handles, and I will have it stored in a specific software that I can then go back and reference to and contact them and send them continuous values, have those 11 touch points as I referenced, to then want to hop into a call with me and work with me at the end of the day. Now, the third thing may seem a little bit weird, but I only had one offer. Now, when I mean this, I don't mean that like you should have 100 different offers. What I mean is if they didn't want to work with me on this specific thing for this specific duration of time for this a specific amount of money, I basically just told them that they can F off. Not really, but more or less that's kind of how I was. I didn't have the ability for people who maybe weren't at that level to want to, test the waters. And then for other people who decided to work with me and after they finished getting done in their period of time, say it was a 12-week program, I didn't have a way to extend their LTV, their lifetime value as a client of mine so that I would say, provide more value and get more money. To put it very bluntly, the way I would fix this is I would have a low ticket item, a mid ticket item, and a high ticket item. This is typically what most people will call like a value ladder. I would create some form of easy access to where they maybe get already pre-documented workouts or nutrition plans that I'm not doing anything really custom on, and they can purchase it at a very low cost, gain some value, see some results, then decide that they want to move up to a higher ticket package, which then I can customize a little bit more. I can charge a little bit higher. And then after they got done with their actual 12-week program, maybe I have like a mastermind or a meetup or a retreat or some form of a very big high ticket item. So that way, at least they can still continue their journey with me. Now, most common and what we tell people to do is to think of like the 3 C's, which is your community, your coaching offer, and or a course. Now, how you decide to structure that is completely up to you, but typically most people would do a community, they would do a course, and then they would do a coaching offer, which is their extension of their ladder. Now, number 4, I've kind of already touched on this when I mentioned the fact of having a CRM, but the part that I messed up with is I didn't have an automated system to continuously touch base with the previous prospects that I wanted to work with. Now, if you've ever reached out to new people, you know that it's a continuous numbers game. Now, that being said, as you're reaching out to new people, you want to make sure you're still nurturing the old people so that they can get to the point that they want to actually work with you. Problem is, when you're working in the business, it's hard to work on the business. So for myself, it was hard to have those amount of touch points while creating the coaching course, the actual offers themselves, and coaching people. So what I would do is in my systems, I would make sure to have automation that would have those continuous touch points. And I would also have some front end automations. That way I can get people to automatically go ahead and book with me. I don't have to have too many conversations, along with also with my clients. I can automate certain aspects of checking in with them so I don't have to specifically check in with them all the time. It kind of just goes on itself. Now, the 5th mistake was as I was quickly scaling and I started to see results, I tried to remember how did I get the results in the first place. The problem is I didn't have a written system and process that I can replicate, and not just replicate, I can also delegate to someone else if I decided that I wanted to bring someone on. This is basically what I'm talking about as far as creating documents, SOPs, and just making sure that the process is somewhere to be found that I can then hand it off to someone else so that they can rinse or repeat it and continue the cycle. See, with most coaching businesses, if you don't have these processes in place, if it can't be found and you don't know what's working, it's going to be hard for you to scale, because the moment you decide to put somebody into the business, they're going to look to you as far as guidance, and you're not even going to know how you got to the point that you are in the first place. So one of the key things we make sure to focus on when we're working with clients is that there actually are SOPs in place. We know how we get from A to B and what's unique for their specific mechanism. So when we bring a new person on, whether it's a sales rep, whether it's someone for marketing and creating content with them, they're able to copy the process that works and help scale past where we currently are. This gives us the opportunity to allow the content creator, the entrepreneur, the thought leader, the opportunity to work on the business, again, not in the business. Now, last but not least, I'm going to throw in a freebie, is as I was quickly scaling and I started to see results, the mistake I didn't do was I didn't seek guidance. I tell people all the time, doctors have doctors, teachers have teachers, coaches have coaches. So as myself, as a coach at that time, I wish I would have got a coach that would allow me the opportunity just to streamroll this process so I don't have to hit my head as many times. So if you're in a predicament to where you are seeing some wins, or maybe you haven't even got started, but you might have the ability and the wiggle room to invest into yourself, into your business, I highly recommend that you get a coach who's doing the exact thing that you're doing in order for you to jump the curve and get ahead of the game. But make sure that you don't just get ahead, you can stay ahead and stay sustained. Again, I lost over $100,000 in potential earnings because I didn't know these things. I didn't have these things in place, and I decided to be ignorant to the fact of not learning these things. You're probably thinking, okay, Jay, you built a 5-figure business. You have the potential to have a 6-figure business. What's making you accredited to then say these things, to understand that these were the problems you went wrong, and then this is how you would fix it to then double it? Well, when I lost the business, I didn't simply just throw away the opportunity. What I did was I took a step back and I decided to actually learn and craft more skills and actually come back to the trenches. I studied from actual mentors and I got a part of other people's businesses so that I can understand what's under the hood. So when the time comes that I decide to actually relaunch my offer, I know what to do. That's how I ended up helping a 7-figure company build out their value ladder and actually close 35K offers for them, while also quickly getting to become their head coach of their whole ecosystem. So again, I'm not just saying this because I think it's a theory. I'm saying this because I've actually applied this theory to businesses and actually been part of them to understand the actual infrastructure. And I've been able to take these same insights from this business to consult other businesses, where one of my friends, he had a company, we retweaked these 5 steps that I mentioned, and he quickly tripled his revenue the next following month. Now, the difference was, it wasn't because I was a better coach. Again, I just decided to understand the systems, the automations, the delegations, and what was needed in order for the coach to actually be the coach and for the business to properly scale and then sustain. So to keep it very short and simple, and to do a little bit of a recap for you, what's the 5 biggest mistakes and how I would actually decide to fix them and build it all back while doubling it? First, I would make sure to build an evergreen content creation system, so that way leads can find me. I don't have to spend too much work doing that outreach for them. Second, I would make sure to have some way that they're able to give me their information, but I still provide value to them, so that it makes it easy for me to contact these leads, but also make sure I can automate that process in order for me to focus on my business. Third, I would have a clear value ladder that gives the people the opportunity to get their feet wet into what I specifically can coach and teach them, and then help extend them up the ladder with new opportunities that were just not more value packed, but also end up costing a lot more. The fourth thing is I will make sure to implement the CRM system, so that I'm not just having the continuous touch points for my prospects, but I can make sure that I'm having continuous touch points and keep up to date with all the clientele that's in my ecosystem. The CRM is very crucial because it's going to give me the opportunity to go and find these leads and make sure to have those nurture sequences in place that they feel like they're always being checked on, and I can check the data to see what are we doing, what's going right, what's going wrong, from our sales process to our marketing and our fulfillment. Fifth thing is I would make sure that I would document everything, whether it was good, whether it was bad. I want to make sure I can understand, how did we get to this point, to that point, and understanding that the SOPs, the automations are going to be crucial, especially when we're looking to delegate and build out the team for the actual business. The bonus one was the fact that I honestly would just invest into a coach a lot earlier. Someone who's done the thing that I can actually learn from, realize their systems, fine tune them for my own self, and that way I don't have to worry about bumping my head against the road. So if you're looking to build an online coaching business in 2025, these are just 5 of the things that I would tell you to highly recommend focusing on. There's a lot of other things as well too. I'm not here to tell you that I am the ultimate guru when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's just what I've seen throughout my experience from running a coaching business, being a part of other coaching offers, and then also helping other people to scale their coaching offers. What are some 5 common mistakes, how you can fix them, and what I would have done / what I am doing to make sure I don't do those again and double the actual process. So let's be honest. What's 1 out of the 6 things that I mentioned today that you feel is actually holding you back in your coaching business, that you know that you should be working on, and or you just realized this was the main issue in your business? Drop it below, and what I'll do is just make a comment down there with some free advice, and that way hopefully you're able to get over this hump and get to the next steps. This has been great. I'm going to provide some more value like this down the road, especially as I learn and I grow. And if you're interested, what I'll do is actually create another video kind of breaking this down a little bit more in depth for you and showing you exactly how we've been able to do this. Till next time, catch you guys later.